Welcome everyone. Today we have a special Lost Ark video which I want to talk about a lot of things. And right away you can see we have been losing a lot of players. Over 80% of the player base have reduced on Lost Ark. And there's a lot of things I want to talk about. So why are we losing player base and what we can expect to come in the future, what can fix this, and also how to deal with bots. So some of the major issues that's regarding to the game at the moment are going to be bots and also map scammers and also a lot of difficulties with the game and also the need to catch up in the game, which is causing a lot of players to quit or taking a break from the game. As you can see over here on this screenshot which I took earlier, usually a lot of servers on North America, we are busy with Valton and also Maori, and now a lot of times it's no longer busy, it's good. I mean, it's not packed, we don't have the lineup, but you can see that we're losing a lot of players. So it's quite important us as a community, we have a look at this, and we talk about what are the ways we can help to fix this, and what are the things we can look forward from the developers. So it's quite important for us to be aware of this. So you can see the drop of players, and also it is quite concerning that I can see posts about bots joining the mapping. So the bots have evolved and also advanced into joining the mapping for the tier 1 maps. Let's hope they don't go to tier 2 and tier 3, because this will crash the market. As you can see over here on the market, the Destruction Stone, Guardian Stone, Star's Breath, those items have been crushing in price, and there's a reason behind it as well, because they're bots that's currently joining mapping, which is very scary for the Chaos map, and also this is likely going to affect the market as well. Now recently, I have received a lot of messages from our players and also viewers about concerns of losing player base and what is happening, and also the price of the crushing of the market. Why is market falling so hard? And also some of my viewers also sent me this video about, this is from several over here, talking about why players are quitting, and there's some important things I do want to talk about, including the feeling of constantly needing to catch up and also missing out. And there's also a very painful thing about homing for items and losing out on homing rates. Some players are quitting because of this. So let's first talk about why we're losing the player base, and then we'll talk about what we can expect very soon in the future to have some adjustments or have some improvements, and also some of my own personal recommendations how to deal with bots. At the end of the video, I also want to share some of my free-to-play gaming experience. I have over 10 years of free-to-play games, including Summoning Sword, Genshin Impact, a lot of the popular games, Epic 7. I played a lot of mobile games and also free-to-play games in my, past gaming history. So I really want to share you some of my insights with free-to-play games and how to balance this, how to not spend too much in those games. Now coming over to this live Steam chat of active players playing Lost Ark, you can see that when the game's launched, we're hitting over a peak of 1.3 million players, and currently we're reducing to about 300,000 players. And you can see the graph is showing that constantly we're getting lower and also lower player base. So one of the things we want to be aware is, why is the player base reducing? Well, the first thing, which is a good start, is that some of those players are not really players, they're bots. So one of the good things about reducing player base is that we can see that bots are being removed from the game, and it's less bots because the latest patch notes and latest strategies of combating bots seems to be working. There's still more bots, which we'll talk about, because you can see in this post, there's even bots in the mapping, right? So we'll talk about the bots as well, but it's a good thing that some of the player base are reduced because there's less bots. Now coming over to some of the other reasons why players have stopped playing the game or even taking a break from the game. One of the bigger things I have noticed from the players is the homing rates. The tier 2 and also tier 3 homing rates, it's ridiculously low, and this can be very disencouraging, especially at tier 3. Once players try to get to tier 3 or after getting to 1370, some of the players have decided to take a break and also wait for the new content. This is because the progression pace is so much more slowed, and the game have been giving us a lot of freebies in the game. The game has been giving out a lot of homing books, which I have been saving up as well. I'll show you guys over here. So the game has been giving us a lot of those homing books, a lot of the purple books, to give us better rate. But this also leaves players in a situation which that they will be stuck after 1370, and the progression will be much slower. And this is combined with the difficulty to make more gold in the game. Currently, the massive market deflation, as we know in the market, so a lot of items that used to sell for a lot of gold is selling for 1 or 2 gold, and this is really affecting the pace of players to progress in the game. This combined with other things like map scammers, so there's people that runs map dungeons like purple ones or the golden ones, they don't actually use their maps, so this is a really big setback, and I've seen many players reporting this to me and really want me to talk about this. So we also talk about this as well. There's also bugs and also constantly bots selling and also selling items for gold. So this doesn't create the best environment for the new players and also existing players. And there's some things that we'll look into and how this can be fixed very soon. So those are some of the reasons why we're getting a lower player base. The major factor could be a good thing because less bots are in the game, but the other factors doesn't look that good. And we should be aware of this, and hopefully the developers is aware of this. Maybe we can spread the message, maybe we can share as a community to look for ways to to make the game more player friendly, to create a better environment, and also to not have players feeling the rush of catching up to the content. Because as a free-to-play game, they have an incentive to make money in the game. We understand this, but at the same time, it is quite important to balance this with the players' enjoyment and also their amount of achievement in the game without spending money in the game. That's why I want to make content and make videos to help you guys find free resources and also tips. But at the same time, it is very, very important for us to understand how the free-to-play games mentality works, and we'll talk about this very soon. Now that we talk about some of the problems in the game, the next part is what can we expect to come in the future. And this is quite important because we can expect Velton, which will be the 1400. I do believe this is the one, so don't quote me if I get this wrong. So I do believe this is the next tier to join Velton, 1415, and this is likely going to come in about 2 weeks' time. Now, one of the reasons this is the case is if we have a look at some of the items that were given to us, and we can see there's a timer on those items. So notice that this item will expire on the 28th of April. And a lot of items that were, that was currently in the patch will have expiry. So make sure you're aware of this so you don't stock them up and don't use them. So be aware of the event items from the latest event rate. Those have expiry. And this is actually pinpointing or hinting the April patch. So what we can expect from the new patch is likely going to be new events, new classes like Destroyer, which I definitely want to try, and also new Guardian raids and also more features to come. Because a lot of viewers who have played other versions of the game, they are saying there's a lot of content that is missing from the game. And this is maybe a strategy and a method to get players to spend more money in a free-to-play game. Because if there's too much resource at the moment, players wouldn't want to spend, right? But as the new patch comes with more content, likely we're going to get more resource to spend to progress after 1370, which will be very important to get to the next tier. Now the good thing of having a new patch is that we can expect the new developers notes or the roadmap very soon, sometime this week or next week by the latest. It can be as early as tomorrow if the patch comes out. We'll talk about this. So we're expecting some of the roadmaps and also some of the developers notes. We can also expect a new endgame and also the increase of prices as players push for higher tier levels. Currently, players are stocking up their gold, they're not spending their gold. And also, rich players are not spending their gold because they already capped out, right? So having a new content might mean that the market for the game may be going up. So this means that maybe all of us can make more gold in the game by farming items with the alt characters and also farming items with the main characters. You can see the stones and also lipstones, they're reducing prices. So hopefully with new content, those prices will go up and there's more resource for everyone. Now we can also expect a new catch-up mechanics that is going to be a bonus rate. I've heard the bonus rate to success from tier 1 to tier 3 is almost 100%, and at the tier 3 we get like 20% bonus rate at least, so the increase of rate bonus will help players to catch up as well. So if new players or existing players who are not 1370, the bonus rate from the coming patch will be a very big feature. And also on the side of map sharing and also map scammers. So some of the viewers have been telling me that in the Korean version, when 4 players now uses the map, they enter the secret map dungeon instantly by spending their own map. So instead of having a map scammer that waits to the last guy and he doesn't do his map, so this actually removes map scammer and also saves about 10 to 15 minutes each day without doing the 4 maps. So the 4 players that join to a party just have to do 1 map, and at the same quality, this will spend everyone's map by 1. And this is actually a really good feature. So I think this is a really big quality of life that we can expect to come in the game, and I'm very excited for this one. Because trust me, everyone pings, everyone wants to take gold maps, and sometimes you have a golden map and you get scammed, and that feels terrible. And some of the viewers have been telling me they've been scammed multiple times, and this is really affecting the player's experience. So hopefully this mutual feature comes into the game for the global server, and we can really save some time and also avoid all the scammers this way. Now we mentioned earlier that it's good that bots are being banned, but at the same time, if we come over to this post from Nick over here, you can see that he is showing that bots are actually in the tier 1 map for the Chaos Gate, and this means they're doing Chaos Gate. This means they may be doing mapping as well, and this could be one of the reasons why the tier 1 materials are dropping rapidly. You can see the tier 1 materials, even the star spread, and also the tier 1 pouches, they're dropping massively. So let's find the tier 1 pouch. Let me show you guys. Yeah, the tier 1 pouch is still 92 gold, but before they were dropping a lot as well. So there can be concerns of those bots and also activity affecting the market. And personally, I'll be thinking a little bit. I'm not a developer, I'm just trying to come up with ideas. And if those works, and if you guys like it, maybe we can share in the community, and hopefully developers notice this, and we can do something about the bots. Now, one of the basic idea I can think of as a bot filtering verification is to have some kind of those, the sliders when you join like a login, you slide into a certain spot, or maybe there's an image on the screen and you input some of the numbers and also images or clicks. So those can be some possible bots elimination or filtering system that when we join a certain instance, maybe the Chaos Dungeon, maybe the Chaos Gate, or maybe mapping. So when there's a certain verification in the game, this can limit the amount of bots that's gonna be in, because they can't automate everything, right? But of course, I know this is not really practical because there's a downside to it, because no one wants to do verification every 10 or 15 minutes, right? So what I'm thinking is, because this is a troublesome process for the real players, maybe we can give real players a bonus loot for doing this. Let's make this a rare minigame, that this pops up every hour or maybe half hour, or when you do certain events, and maybe make a Mokoko minigame, which lasts for 10 or 30 seconds. But this will boost your loots or items for 10 or 20%. So this gives real players incentive for doing this, and they actually like this. And this can remove the bots and also reduce the activity of the bots. So just one of my thought, and if you guys like it, it's great. If not, let me know. Let me know in the feedbacks in the comments. Now coming over to the last part, and something I want to share with you guys about my free-to-play experience. So a lot of free-to-play games do have this problem, is that players tend to have this feeling of pay to win, or pay to progress, or pay to rush. So it's very important in any games, in Lost Ark or any games, to remember that there's no need to rush. Play the game at your own pace. And it's quite important that we understand once we pay a lot of money into the game to progress, our enjoyment of the game will greatly reduce, because you'll be used to this fast pace of the game. You no longer enjoy running your Chaos Dungeons or doing the Guardian Raids, because who would do that? You just spend 50 cents or $10 and you don't have to do that. You just go to work, right? Remember that we play games to enjoy. We're not here to play the game to just push and be fast. We want to enjoy games at our own pace. And of course, because it's a free-to-play game, the game still wants you to support the game. I'm not saying that's not paying the game. We can still pay to support the game's developers for their good features. Some players like to buy the skins, other players like to buy the monthly card. I'm not saying we shouldn't pay into the game, because otherwise the game will die, right? But rather, we're not paying to solve a problem. This is a very strong mental and psychological thing with free-to-play games. And I used to get this problem as well. When I used to play games like Summoner's War, if you guys have heard of this, or maybe Genshin Impact, players will pay money to solve a problem, because once their mind see that they are being slowed down, they don't have a 5-star character, they don't have a legendary item, they see this as a problem. If you get used to this concept of paying to solve a problem, this will always stuck with you. And this can lead to gambling addictions, and this can lead to other psychological problems. So never see that you're paying to solve a problem. Let's say, I'll show you guys over here. You might have seen my video for days. So for the past 3 days, I have been failing with my homings, and I'm trying to get this shoulder to plus 13 I can't. And I've been failing for 3 days just with the normal lipstones I get from the dailies. And I've been failing like 5 or 6 times on this item, but it's okay. I'm not paying to progress. I don't think I need to rush. So I'm still patient. I'm still trying to get to 1,400 this week, but I'm not in the biggest rush. And I think it's quite important to not spend money in the game to solve a problem. It's okay to support the game. And hopefully, once we understand the mentality of the free-to-play game, we'll enjoy the game so much more by doing the game and also doing the way at our own pace. And hopefully this video helped you guys to understand the game, to see what is happening with the player base and what we can expect in the future, which is some really good things to come, including new classes. So quite excited for this one. And also some of my thoughts about the bots, and also how to deal with free-to-play games, and also the balance between paying and also not paying. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, make sure you do so, because we'll be getting a lot of guides, a lot of tips as I discover them, and I love the game. So I want to share as much as I can with you guys, and let's have a great time in Lost Ark as we explore this game and get the most out of it.